Hello and welcome to this webinar, Meal Planning 101. I'm Paige and I will be taking you through 5 simple steps in Meal Planning 101. But most importantly, these steps will be in a simple way, but a sustainable way. But within that, you will get the structure, how you can then implement these 5 steps every week and rinse and repeat as part of your health and wellness journey. So I believe that when you plan your meals out over a week, it makes for a better execution. So it stops you then having to have the temptation towards perhaps takeout. You'll end up spending more money and you'll probably end up with a lot of waste as well, because you'll just be grabbing from the supermarket and not really planning out your meals and only shopping for that particular menu. So I know we've all been guilty of that in the past. And I've really refined this to make it easier for you so you can just implement this in your weekly schedule. Now, in your membership and as part of this webinar, you would have received a weekly menu planner downloadable. So for those of you that maybe don't use an app for listing out your menu or your grocery list, it's here in a paper format. Some of you might be a little bit like me and you like a bit of old school. That's me. I like to print these out and keep it on the fridge. So, of course, everything I'm sharing is what I have refined myself over the time, and it's what I still implement in my own home every week. So it does make for a really easy execution doing it this way. So I will take you through, firstly, let's dive straight in. So step number 1, obviously you're going to download this. You may choose to use it on a tablet or similar, or you may have another format where you have literally 7 days of the week. You also have breakfast, lunch, dinner and snacks, and then you have some space for a grocery list, again, if you're not using an app to create your grocery list, or if you're not ordering directly from one of your local supermarkets. And then, of course, having some space on the back is really handy, which I will talk you through soon on how you'll utilise that as well. So, number 1. Once you've got your planner ready to go, this honestly, when you look at this every week, I spend usually a Sunday, or if I'm not working on the Monday, I make it the Monday. Plan this around your own schedule. What's going to work? You'll finish the weekend, you're ready for the week ahead, and you want to be organised and structured with your meal planning. So however the day looks for you to do that. So sometimes at night, you can just do this in front of the television if you want to, if you're relaxing, and you're starting to think out your week. Everything that I will share with you is really about getting that structure there, but I promise you it will be simple. And once you learn these new normals, as I like to refer to them as, you'll just keep doing them every week. They'll just become part of your weekly schedule. So if you think about it, just before I do dive in, you're going on a holiday, you don't just wing it and go, I'll just go there and the rest will sort itself out. You have to plan. You have to book the accommodation. You have to obviously put in for your leave if you're working for an employer. You perhaps need somebody to look after your pets or your home if you have a garden to look after. That all creates organisation. So therefore you end up having a really good holiday at the end of that. Well, this is a similar concept. So you're planning accordingly, just implementing these steps. And then you go, okay, I'm going to have a really good week and I've got minimal waste, less cost, and I'm strengthening my health. So I think everything that we do when it comes to our health and wellness journey, come back to your why. What's my why? Is my why weight loss? Is my why hormonal balance? Is it just to be more organised? I know I need to eat better. I want to gain vitality. I want to reinvent my health. Whatever your why is, these all apply to that. So number 1, the household schedule is what I look at firstly every week. So in my home, there's only the 2 of us. So my husband does work away. He is usually gone 1, 2, sometimes 3 nights, some weeks. It varies every week, but I get his roster for a month at a time. I'm the only cook in the house, so I need to be organised. I have a busy schedule as well with running my own business and my own life, so I need to be organised because I don't want us to be tempted to do just that, buy takeaway or eat out all the time. Plus it's expensive. So I want the most cost-effective way, the least amount of waste, but we're supporting our health and vitality. So I look at the schedule for the week. So this is where you can use the back of this and you could map out. So say there's 2 of you or 4 of you in the house. So who's around for what meals? So in my case, this particular week, I know that this week which applies, so today is Tuesday, so I did this exercise yesterday because I actually wasn't in my office yesterday. So I looked at the days that hubby was home for meals. So he's home today, he was home yesterday, and he's home tomorrow, but he's actually not going to be around for Thursday and Friday. So I know that I'm only catering to myself for those days and my choices. Now, I eat a little bit differently to him. I intermittent fast more than he does, and I can eat a lot lighter than he does. So I make sure that I'm catering to both of our needs. I am very fortunate that he will eat pretty much what I cook because I am the only cook in the house. So it's factoring in the lifestyles and the needs and wants of everybody in your home, I think, is very important as well. And whoever is the cook. You may even have a situation where if you have teenagers or grown young adults at home still, they may chip in and choose a day. So this weekly planner can be something that you create together as a family or as a household. If there's only yourself and one partner, you can still apply this. So everything I suggest you can apply according to your own environment, but you'll see that I'm obviously referring to my own environment in this case. So I already know that for the household schedule this week, the days that Paul is around. So this took me about 15 minutes yesterday, just at the end of my day, planning out what the rest of the week was going to look like. I know on Saturday we'll probably go out with friends for a meal, and then Sunday we're at home again. So I go through the whole week and I look at when we'll be socialising, when will we be eating out, and how many meals do I need to create each day. So again, apply that to your own needs and your own household. So I know Thursday and Friday, when he's not here, I can just eat a lot lighter and choose exactly what I want to eat for those days. So that's the most important point to start with. And this is where this does come in. You can just free write that on the back. And there might be, say, myself page, Paul, and what his schedule is. So that's where my starting point is. And then I flip this over and I start to map it out. So then step 2, so step number 1, household schedule. Look at who is around, what days of the week, and how many meals do I need to create in one week? And is it breakfast every day? Is it lunch every day? Is it dinner every day? And are there any snacks that I also need to apply? So it's ensuring that you're very clear on that. So again, this helps the cause of less waste, nourishing your body, and home-cooked meals always taste better, I believe. So that's step 1. Step 2, we're now going to look at what's already in the fridge. Again, this whole exercise took me about 20 minutes yesterday. That is all. Why do I do this? Because I want us to eat well. I want to ensure that we always have good health, and I want to spend less on groceries and produce. And I also want to ensure that I'm really organised because it makes my week a lot better. So everything is written on the piece of paper, and I pop this on the fridge and I hold myself accountable and I refer to it each day. And then I will see at a glance that, okay, that's what we're having for this meal. Great, I know I'm prepared and I've got everything I need. It will inspire you, this system, trust me. So look at what's already in your fridge, step number 2. So what's already in the fridge and the freezer when you start to map out the rest of the week. So in the fridge, you may still have, and I'll refer to veggies a lot because they're normally ones that lose their shelf life a lot quicker than anything else. So go through your crisper, go through all the areas where you've got some vegetables. And what my question I ask to myself when I do open the fridge, and I firstly go with the vegetables. What can I juice? What can I turn into a soup and freeze if it's not soup weather, or I just don't feel like soup? Or what could I stir fry if it's a little bit limp, but I could still use it in the next meal? What could I also turn into a smoothie? Is there some additional veggie ingredients or fruit ingredients that I can just make a nice big smoothie, just sip on over a couple of days? And also, what could I then turn into stock? So if it is really at the end of its shelf life, so a little bit wilted, a little bit tired, as I say, and I know you'll get what I'm talking about with that. Sometimes it gets past that stage where it really can't be juiced and it can't be turned into anything. So therefore, I turn it into stock. So on my kitchen bench, I have a huge stock pot when I'm making stock, a large quality stainless steel stock pot. I put all the veggies that I'm looking at that are wilted and perhaps, have been pushed to the back of the fridge or not used. And I pop them in there with lots of ginger, garlic, herbs, variety, a little bit of sea salt, anything that I believe will just add flavour to that. I fill that stock pot 3/4 full with filtered water, and I bring it to the boil, and then I simmer it for about 30 to 45 minutes. And I let it cool to room temperature. I strain the vegetables out. I discard the vegetables because I've taken all of the life force out of them now. And then I turn that liquid stock into mason jars and I pop it in the freezer. And the benefit that brings, it adds a beautiful flavour to any meal. If you're pulling back on having oil with your cooking, it's ideal. You can water fry. And it's also great that if you simply feel like you want something, to reheat some veggie stock on a very low temperature on the stovetop, or if you own a Thermomix, pop it in there and just reheat it, and it's lovely to sip on. So there's so many benefits to actually having some liquid veggie stock in your freezer at all time. I constantly have a really well-stocked level of veggie stock, and it creates less waste, and it's beneficial as well to our health. So they're the areas that I look at. I also go into my freezer, how much fish have I got, or whatever freezer items that you may have that can make up a meal, because it's pointless doubling up and creating a really long shopping list if you know that you already have enough. So you look at what your protein sources are that are in the freezer perhaps, also your protein sources that are in your fridge, so be it tofu, be it sausages, whatever that looks for you based on the needs of your household, the dietary needs of your household. Then you go from there and you start to map out your meals. So that is step 2. So you're cleaning out the fridge. And what I like to also do is wipe over the shelving while you're there. Give everything a wipe over. I even take a moment to go through condiments every now and then. Most sauces and condiments are kept in the fridge in the door. So just look over those. Is anything past its use-by date, or maybe there's a little bit of fur on it that I need to discard? So that's your opportunity to do it while you're there. So you're removing everything out. You may not need to take everything out, but you're taking a lot of the contents out. You're wiping down all the shelves where things maybe have spilled or created rings on the glass. It gives you a sense of organisation when everything's clean and it has a space. In the video that accompanies the membership, I also took video footage of my fridge and how I actually lay out my fridge. So go back and refer to that. You'll see I like to group things together because, again, it makes for better planning. So I put all my protein sources in one section. I put all my condiments that need to be in a fridge in a large jar, such as olives or fermented vegetables, in another section, because they're toppers. They're things that I put on top of a meal. All my veggies, like my celery that I juice, goes in a drawer. I have leafy greens and onions and salad ingredients to another drawer. And then I have like steamed vegetables in another section, such as cauliflower or broccoli. So I group things together. So again, as the week progresses and I'm revising where I'm at, and if there's been changes along the way, I can do a very easy stock take. So like a retail store will do, they do a stock take of what their shop is holding. I know they don't do it every week, but it's the same concept that we're implementing here. It's the same as when you go into your wardrobe and you decide at the end of the season or at the end of the year, okay, discarding what's not being used, I'm reorganising it so it's all spaced out nicely, and at a glance I know what my clothes are and where they are. I know where shirts are, t-shirts. It's the same concept in a fridge. And as I share about in my pantry kitchen overhaul videos that you would have been given with this membership, it's really important to understand and get clear that the foundation of your health is in the kitchen. That's where it all starts. It's where it started for me. And that's why I give you the simple tools and strategies and the structure to implement in your own kitchen and pantry layout. That then flows through into the fridge. It's just as important. I even keep my eggs in a section with all of the protein areas. So you'll work out a layout that works for you and your family. And it's really important to get that all clean and organised. And once you've got all of your groupings there, then you can start to really menu plan. So that's your 2 steps. So I'll recap as we go through each step. So step 1, household schedule, mapping that out over here on the back, knowing how many family members are home for the week and what nights you're cooking maybe for yourself or the whole family, or maybe just for a couple of you in the house. So mapping that out, however that works for you. Doesn't have to be fancy. You can just apply that to the back here. Step number 2, look for what's in your fridge and your freezer. So what do you already have? So doing a stock take of your vegetables. What have I got that I can turn into juice? What can be turned into a smoothie or added to a smoothie, and I make a bulk amount and put them into a mason jar. What could I put into a soup that I can then actually freeze? What could I turn into a veggie stock? There's just numerous things to just ask yourself first before you completely discard that vegetable, because they do have a certain shelf life. So juicing is my first go-to with most vegetables, because liquid nutrients through the bloodstream, you can't get any better. But sometimes soup is a great option. You do some bulk freezing for the winter months, or when it is getting a bit cooler. Not everybody wants to have soup all year round. So that's where this is an ideal activity. You put those veggies to the side and you decide what that's going to look like for you and what applies to you. We're not just discarding, even though it's a little bit tired. Of course, if it's completely tired and it's had its shelf life, well, that's when you potentially would turn it into liquid vegetable stock. So some people even add chicken carcasses to that. And I know bone broths are just such a huge thing for health, and they really are so beneficial. So it's however it looks for you. So you've looked at your fridge and your freezer, you've done a bit of a wipe out and a clean out, you've gone through some older items, and as you do this every week, obviously you won't need to do all the condiments every week, but start to get into the habit of keeping an eye on what's taking up shelf space, what's not getting eaten, and just making a mental note that we don't keep buying that because the household's not eating it. So we're grouping everything together that we still have in the fridge and the freezer. Refer to my video for that for extra guidance. Then we start to map out our menu planner. So you're plotting meals into categories. So your weekly menu planner is what you will use as that tool. Now, for those of you that might own the Thermomix TM6, which I also covered in additional bonus video that you've received with this webinar and your membership, I talk you through my 3 favourite appliances and my 3 only appliances that I have in my own kitchen. And that is an Instant Pot Port 8. I also have a juicer, and I also have a Thermomix TM6. I truly believe, hand on heart, every household needs those 3 appliances to achieve great health, and I truly believe that's all you need. If you like baking a lot more, well, perhaps you might like to get yourself, a really nice cake mixer or something similar, but there's nothing that the Thermomix can't achieve for you to achieve those results. So this is not a plug on a Thermomix, but I just want to highlight for those of you watching this that may own a TM6, a beautiful feature within the app is that you can actually send, which I will show you, you can send your grocery list straight to Woolworths. So Thermomix actually have partnered with Woolworths, and you can go into your Cookie Do app and you can start to map out your recipes and your shopping list. You can actually then send your shopping list to your local Woolworths, and that will be delivered to your door. So again, it's about structure and simplicity so that this is sustainable for the long term. So that's the beauty of the Thermomix TM6. I personally don't have the need to have my groceries brought to my door. I'm very fortunate that they're close by, and I tend to like to go and do my own shop anyway. So that is a great option, and you can go within the app and start to map out your recipes. You can meal plan. So the thing with the Thermomix TM6 in Cookie Do, I can literally search in there that I've got carrots that I don't know what I want to do with. It will give me a huge variety of recipes for carrots. So I can just look at what I want to achieve. So it's just incredible how much there's thousands of recipes in this Cookie Do app that you can refer to. You can apply this with any ingredients and it will give you so many options to choose from. So that's, again, why I love the Thermomix, because you save time, you save money, and you can plan out your menu and your recipes at such an ease, and it caters to all dietary requirements. So for those of you that don't have a Thermomix, that is fine too. You can still apply these steps to that. So that's where this would come in again. So you would start to map out some of the favourites that the family or the household members love. I think that's really important to do that first. So map out, say it's for dinner, or just focus on dinner. You map out how many dinners that you will need to make throughout the week, which you've done because you've looked at everybody's schedule and you now have gone through your fridge and you're clear on what you already have. So some of the favourites from those ingredients you may be able to create and add that into your menu planner straight away. So there, straight away, you may have like 3 dinners already sorted for the week. Up to you whether you want to do the full 7 days of menu planning. Some weeks I do, but some weeks I don't. Some weeks I might actually only do 3 days. So I might just do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday planning and then revise. Then I do the rest of the week. Or I may be very time poor at my weekly meal planning 101. And I might think, no, look, I'll just do 3 days worth because I really don't have the time to do the whole week. Plus our schedule may change and I might be going out more, or I might be going to a friend's place. So that I think is equally as important. So do what works for you, whether you're going to map out straight away while you're creating this new normal. You might only do 3 days. Then you might start to progress to 7 days as you really start to rinse and repeat this process. But don't step away from the 5 steps. That's really how it will start to really implement in your weekly lifestyle. So you start plotting out your meals into categories. So how many lunches, how many dinners, whatever the favourites are, plot those in straight away. And then obviously you're using the ingredients you already have. Then you can start to formulate your grocery list from that, because you might go, okay, well, I know the whole family would love a Thai curry, and we're going to use chicken. I've got plenty of chicken fillets. I've got curry paste. I just need to get these certain vegetables that I know the family love with the curry. I've got enough rice already at the ready. So now I just need to get these certain vegetables. And then I've got Sunday's dinner planned for Thai curry, and I just need to ensure I've got these few ingredients to add to that. So then you know at a glance when this is back on the fridge, oh, Sunday we're having Thai curry. Have I got the ingredients? Yes, of course I have, because I've planned this out. It really gives you that sense of accomplishment as well. So that's step number 3. So plotting out, using categories, some of the family favourites, some of your favourites, and you're mapping out your meals. So again, just to recap, number 1, household schedule, you've mapped that out. Number 2, look at what's already in the freezer and the fridge. You've repurposed your veg that's had its shelf life. You know exactly what you've got. You've put everything into categories. You've got your proteins, you've got your veggies, you've got your condiments, you've got your sprinkle ingredients for the top of salads, all grouped in the way that your family and that your household would like. Then you want to find extra recipes or extra recipes, I guess, that you can start to then bulk out and stretch out the rest of this menu plan. So again, if you have a Thermomix, you'll start to just look in there. What appeals to me? What do I want to try? And the other thing I want to highlight as well is it's really great to mix it up. Don't keep doing the same thing week in, week out. That actually does strengthen your health, believe it or not. When you're having a variety of stir fry, steamed, roasted, raw, mixing them all up is very supportive for health in vegetable format or however that looks for you. So if your dietary requirements are different, it's just mixing it all up. Or if you have a variety in your house, it's mixing all of that up. So have a look at that as well and make sure you're not doing the same week in, week out, week in, week out. So that is step number 4. So you've got your recipes all together, you've worked that out, and you've written them all on here. Or if you have a TM6, you're writing it in your recipes within your Cookie Do app. So you click on the recipes, you click on recipes you've created, and you start to create your shopping list. But even if you're not sending that shopping list to Woolworths, it will just keep it in there anyway. So you've picked a certain recipe, such as, say you want to make, just as an example for this exercise. So you may want to make, say, carrot walnut cake. So you can look at that, you'll see it's an easy one. It's a certain amount of preparation time, how many slices it's going to give you. All the ingredients are listed there. You can keep scrolling up, and then it gives you the instructions as well. And then from there, you can add that to your recipes, my week as well, and then start to build your grocery list from there. So that's the benefit of this. But again, if you don't have a TM6, it's looking at your planner and starting to map out your grocery list down the bottom. There might be just some key items that you need for a particular recipe, but it's interesting when you do a stock take of what you already have, how little you then need to add to your grocery list. You need to use the back. Make this your one central location for your entire week of meals. Don't bring in extra pieces of paper, then it starts to get unstructured and then it doesn't become simple anymore. Keep everything on the one page. And then the whole family, the whole household can refer to this and you all know what you're having for meals. But I encourage those of you that may have children or husbands or wives that you'd like to get involved in the cooking to plan this out together as a family. You know, food should be a community achievement, and within the household is your own community. So that's where this is a great tool because you've all contributed. So therefore you're all going to actually be inspired to cook together or have your part in the week as well. Some of you in the house might say, I'm the cook all the time. You know, I never get any support or help. I guarantee you start to do this and get the family members involved. It will help for the execution of this process, but it'll also get them excited about being part of this process. So step 5. So we're up to step 5 now. You've created your shopping list. So you've sorted out your recipes and you've got your shopping list now ready to go, or use the back if you need to. And then if you're doing for 3 days only, just shop for those meals. Then you're not tempted to buy anything else. You're not tempted to buy excess, and you're not tempted to make poor choices. Now, I get that sometimes during the week things change. You've been invited out for dinner after work that you want to go along, and you may skip that particular day. And then the beauty of that is, you know at a glance, I was meant to make that Wednesday, but I went out for dinner instead. Well, that can be made Thursday or it can be made Friday. So generally 2 to 3 days, you know, is when you can shuffle it around. If you've bought fresh produce to use on a Wednesday, generally by about Friday, you want to ensure that you're using it, or Saturday at the latest. If you've got meat or fish or any other protein sitting in the fridge that's ready to go, defrosted already, probably within 3 days is my general rule of thumb, that I will not let it go any longer than that. Obviously, it depends on what it is. So fish, absolutely only 3 days, and meat and chicken, I would only 3 days max. We are a vegetarian household and also predominantly plant-based. So I don't personally ever have meat sitting around that long, but, you know, quite often there'll be a piece of fish that I've defrosted it on Wednesday because I assume that we have, and at the last minute we've decided to go out, which is fine too. And so I make sure that it's used up within a couple of days of defrosting. So 3 at the very most. So that's just another little hack as well. So you go off, you do your shop. So when you returned from your shop, another little hack, which I have shared in my videos for you to refer to as part of this webinar in your membership, in my own kitchen and my own fridge, I like to pre-chop my vegetables. I know I've got a busy week ahead. To honestly step out into your kitchen, be it at lunch or dinner, I personally like to have my main meal at lunchtime because I work from home, or just after lunch. For me to step out, busy day at the desk, and have everything already pre-cooked pre-cut is fantastic. I can then whip up a meal within 5 to 10 minutes easily, even if it's just a salad with some salmon on it. The salmon gets popped in the air fryer. The salad ingredients are already there. I've already pre-chopped my cucumber, my carrots, my lettuce. It's all pre-chopped in glass containers and stored in the fridge, ready to go into its categories. It might sound OCD, but I guarantee when you start doing this, how good you will feel about getting in the kitchen and making your own meals, as will the rest of the family. And that's why I love glass containers for these exercises and to keep in the fridge. Keeps the food fresher longer. We're not creating any more plastic into the earth that is already in abundance, I believe. and they're easy to clean and look after. They'll last a lifetime, and at a glance, you know exactly what's in that container. So I do share that in the video as well. So I would highly recommend you invest in some of those if you don't already, because they are a great way to ensure you've got the organisation in your fridge, but everything. I spend another 10, 15 minutes when I get home pre-chopping, and I'm ready to go. And the beauty of a Thermomix as well, and you can tell, yes, I love my Thermomix. You know, I can throw some carrots in there, or I can throw some cabbage in there and blitz it within seconds, and it's all chopped up ready, and it's there because of all of the features that a Thermomix brings. So it helps me to feel more organised, and I can even step out and do a quick stir fry and not think twice about where everything is, pulling things out of drawers. I know, okay, that's my category in my fridge that has all my stir fry vegetables. That's my category that has all my herbs and my salad ingredients. So when you get the structure, it becomes simple and then it's sustainable. So again, there's those 3 words that I keep rinsing and repeating. But once you start doing this, I guarantee it'll just become a new normal. And even after 12 years of me starting this, I still do it to this day. Some weeks, look, it doesn't happen. If it's only me around or Paul's going to be gone most of the week, I will therefore, you know, perhaps just work my own schedule because it's just me to cater to. But I still like to do this at least for 3 days, even if it's just me. So just another side note on this, for those of you, and I know there's a lot of home delivered, like HelloFresh, I know is one here in Australia that a lot of people utilize, and that's where you get all your fresh produce plus your protein and you get a recipe card. I personally have never used the service, but I just wanted to add in here for those of you that may already use that service. My suggestion is, if that works for your household, well, of course, continue that. But secondly, maybe look at just doing, say, 3 days a week using HelloFresh. And then the rest of the week may be a combination of you actually doing home cooking yourself, 101. So if that is something that interests you, this is where this Meal Planning 101 comes in. Because what it will do is, again, it'll keep your costs down, because I think HelloFresh is reasonably price pointed, but again, I have never used it, so I wouldn't know. But if you are, maybe just start to embrace that. So, okay, I'm only going to do 3 or 4 HelloFresh meal deliveries a week, and then the rest of the week is home. So you start to plan out this way. So again, looking at your schedule, I think that's the biggest thing. You look at lifestyle and schedule. What is my week looking like? Am I going to have 12-hour days where I really just want minimal food preparation? That's where you might bring in something like HelloFresh. And then the other days where it's, okay, my days aren't as long, well, okay, then I can do some home cooking. So mixing it up makes it more cost effective. And again, you're in control of what you're consuming that way. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, produce delivery for fruits and veg. If your local area has, say, an organic co-op or a delivery service for fruits and vegetables, I really encourage you to embrace that if you don't have homegrown vegetables. For time efficiency, but you're also supporting local growers, but it's fresh produce that you know it's nice and clean, and you're only eating for the seasons, which I believe is really important. We should only eat for the seasons. So that's another option. Again, if you look at how you can outsource some delivery services to support the process. But again, you've always then got this to refer to. It's on the fridge, and you know what meals you're having for the week. So for me, I knew I was having a busy few days this week where I had deadlines and I really had to, ensure that we were eating well. I did my fridge stock take, but it's all on the fridge now. So I know at a glance, okay, today is, I'm doing mushroom bolognese with zucchini strips. So I know that's there. So that makes an easy execution. I don't have to think about have I got all the ingredients because I've already organised that. I've cleaned out my fridge. I've repurposed what I can. I've put everything into categories. I've wiped down all my shelves, given everything a nice clean over. I've created my shopping list. I've also created the recipes I want to make all week, or worked out what I want to do from my Thermomix. I've done my shop. I've pre-chopped some vegetables. I'm good to go. So completely organised, because how many times do you get to the end of the day and you go, oh, I don't know what we're having for dinner. You run to the supermarket, you grab a handful of things, and then you end up with leftovers, waste, as in stuff that doesn't get used, or you don't have enough, or you find that it's just not ideal because you're spending too much money. I believe this is the best system. And as I said, over 10, 12 years, I have just fine-tuned this and fine-tuned this, but I've also come back to keeping it simple, because really that's what works for me, and I know works for many that I've also coached and supported along the way. So 5 simple steps to meal planning 101. So as a final recap, and you may want to just jot these down again as I start to wrap up this webinar, because I'm really excited for you to start to embrace this, because kitchen layout, pantry layout is really, and meal planning 101, they're the 3 vital steps to really start you on your way with your own health and wellness journey. So once you start to really get all of this fine-tuned and simple processes and the structure there, then you will continue to do it week in, week out. And you'll keep the structure there because you have the foundation to make it work. So number 1, household schedule. Who's in the house? What days of the week do I need to create breakfast, lunch and dinners on what days? And how many people do I need to cook for? Do the family members get involved and they help with this process as well, or is it just me? So looking at that only takes a few minutes. Look at what's already in the fridge and the freezer. Do a stock take of what you have. You can list that on your menu planner of what you still have in the fridge and freezer. Vegetables, what can I juice? What can I stir fry? What can I pop in a smoothie? What can I turn into a soup? What can I make into stock if it really has gone past its use by date, or if it's getting a little bit close to its use by date, or it's just a bit wilted? I'm going to make that a stir fry tomorrow because I know it's really at the end of its shelf life. So that's where your first meal could become a stir fry. So you pop that on there. Then you're looking at what on the shelves needs cleaning. You're grouping all your proteins together, your veggies together, be it salad, stir fry, steamed vegetables. You're grouping all of your meats or your chicken or your tofu together. You're making sure you have your olives and your fermented vegetables all together, and you put them into categories within your fridge. You're discarding anything that's way out of its use by date when it comes to condiments or similar, and you're having a nice clean slate to work with. Then you're going to plot your meals out for the week. So what are some of the household favourites? Have I got enough ingredients to actually execute that? Pop that onto your menu planner if you have, and then you start to look at other recipes. You might have favourite apps that you go to. You might have favourite recipe books referring to those. Start to write out a few of your favourite recipes. Again, you can pop that on the back. There's ample room on there. And as I said, keep everything in one central location. Don't start to create things on separate pieces of paper, because I guarantee that then makes it all get a bit messy, and then you go, oh, which paper am I referring to? Keep it on here. That's why I've kept the back blank, so you can keep your own notes on this. Then your number 4, you're starting to find your recipes. As I said, write them on the back. You may be referring to Cookie Do app if you're a Thermomix owner, and then you're going to go and shop because you have a shopping list, you have a menu out planned, and you're only shopping for those recipes and those meals that you've created on your planner. So I even suggest you take this with you shopping. That's why I've put the grocery list on the bottom. Take it with you, so then you know, oh, that's right, that night we're having this, so I'm not buying anything else outside of that. And I do encourage you that if certain, say, there might be some of your staple protein sources that the family or the household love, and say some of those are on special, grab some, pop them in the freezer while you're there. Absolutely. I'm all for keeping a little bit of bulk stock of freezable items at all times. So absolutely. Then you've finished your shop, coming home, you're pre-chopping some veggies, be it a grater format or a Thermomix, however you choose. Chop them up, put into your glass containers, pop them away. So the whole process in total, by the time you've got to step 1 through to step 5, probably an hour, honestly, that you could get a meal planning done. You've cleaned out your fridge, you've done a stock take, you've planned out your meals, you've also planned out your recipes, who you're cooking for, how many, and you need to go and do a shop. I really believe all can be created within an hour. So how good would that be to just spend that 1 hour of time to have all that planning ready, and the rest of the week is just such smooth sailing because you're all organised. You're nourishing your body, you've got less waste, you've spent less, and you're enjoying the process, because the foundation of health starts in the kitchen, and food is medicine. So I hope you've enjoyed this webinar on Meal Planning 101. Please make sure you send me any questions via email if you have any, or keep them for the live coach call. But in the meantime, please feel free to email me at any time. I'll pop my email address at the bottom of this. And also just enjoy this process. Don't see it as a chore. Look at this is me reinventing my health. This is me getting organised and structured, but how simple is it? So that's what I want you to achieve, and I guarantee the household will start to get involved in the process. And nothing is nicer than a community within a household gathering together to create delicious, nourishing meals, and really embracing this as part of your journey, I think, is a really important step to reinventing your health. So I hope you've enjoyed this. You'll see the other attached downloadables and videos that we've created for this to really support you on this journey. And I look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Bye for now.